Guys, welcome back to another episode of Crossing Swords. As always, I'm Andrew.
And I'm delighted to be playing host. Sort of.
Yeah,
More your house than my house.
yeah, you did grow up here.
Yeah, for a little while.
Before we do anything, should we do your entrance music?
Yeah, do it.
I said certified freak, 7 days a week. Wet ass pussy, make that pull out game weak.
There we have it. There's some hoes in this house.
I think we should dedicate that to our mother.
Well, as it's her house
It's
as
her
well.
favourite song.
It is that and Monster as well. She loves
Yeah.
that. Every time we go on a road trip, they get played, and she loves it.
Does she rap along?
Of course.
No, she shakes her head a lot.
With the beat?
In disgust.
Disgust.
Yeah,
At the lyrics.
completely in disgust.
Which is the only reason we play them.
Yeah, just to upset her.
Yeah,
Poetry though, aren't they, really?
absolutely.
It's about feminine empowerment, so I'm all behind it.
Modern day Shakespeare, really.
That's just for your image.
Yeah.
We know full on that you're actually into the deep misogyny that are in most rap lyrics.
Well, that's why I've got a woman on for once.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, kept it in the family though.
Yeah. Other women are weird. I don't trust them.
Yeah. I'm the only, sensible woman in your life, aren't I?
Well, you and Leanne. Leanne's fairly sensible.
That's true.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Not mum,
Can
though.
Joe say Leanne's name?
Yeah, she's fine.
So it's just me.
Yeah.
Oh.
Why is no one allowed to say Leanne's name?
No, it's just a running joke that every time I've got to play.
Yeah, you can say it.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth!
Okay, so that I'm allowed to say it and that doesn't get played.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. But Jake, I have to play it.
I have sinister intentions.
I like it. I like it. Understandable.
Well, he said he hit on our mum the day Dad was dying.
Did I say that?
Yeah, you did on pod.
I mean, I stand by it.
Yeah.
Why lie?
He said he was respectful and waited for the day.
Look, what do they say in Wedding Crashers? They go and meet up with Will Ferrell, don't they? And he's
Yeah.
like, it's
Oh,
all about the funerals.
Yeah, funerals are where it's at.
Yeah.
It's all about the funerals.
Damn you, Roger. Look, honey, I'm paragliding.
But we've been talking about it for ages, and your sister is finally here.
Yeah.
Yeah, which considering you only live round the corner, it's a bit weird that it's taken so long.
Yeah.
I blame
Takes a lot
Jake.
of
That's just the
organising.
easiest thing to do.
And how long have you been doing this pod now?
4 years.
Interesting.
Has it been that
Yeah,
long?
4 years.
My man.
Yeah, since 2020, bro. We were pre-pandemic.
Yeah, we were just pre-pandemic, weren't we?
Before podcasting was
Wow, how
the
come
thing.
I wasn't pandemic would have been a great opportunity, wouldn't it? Although I was pregnant
were-
and grumpy then, so
And busy homeschooling
So was
as a
I.
kid.
that's true, yeah.
So
Yeah.
you were dealing with all of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, look, we're ticking a lot of boxes. We've got a mum on, a woman
Mhm.
on. So, we're doing well.
We are.
Fine, that
hitting
is-
We'll
it.
see.
As long as Jake doesn't do anything inappropriate, we're fine.
I promised to keep my clothes on for most of the episode.
At least it's being recorded, so
Yeah, we can give it to the authorities if anything happens.
Yeah.
They've got hours of these.
Yeah, that's true.
They're not going through them.
No. But how does it feel to finally be on?
amazing.
Yeah?
Amazing. It was quite funny listening to you
Do the intro.
do the intro and go, so all right, guys, because I'm so used to hearing that
Yeah,
every Sunday because
to
I
be present
listen
for it.
religiously when it comes up on my.
You're one of the OGs.
I am one of the OGs, yeah.
Absolutely.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Shout out, now I'm here.
None of your family listen to this.
What do you want me to do?
Have a word.
Well,
That's the name of
Some of
another podcast.
yeah.
One of my favourites.
Some of the butlers listen.
Yeah, but they're not family.
No, we don't treat them like family either.
That's a shame.
They're just abusing them.
You don't want to humanise them.
No, absolutely not.
If you give the working class a face and a name, very difficult to treat them like shit.
Yeah,
You really got to avoid that.
yeah. Yeah, you can't humanise them in any way whatsoever.
God, no.
No,
Otherwise, you might be appalled at the things you've done in the past.
yeah.
And I'm living guilt-free, baby.
You live guilt-free no matter what, though, to be fair.
Very, very little remorse.
Are you a guilty person, Joe?
A guilty person.
Yeah, do you feel guilt a lot?
Well, I think we're kind of born that way, aren't we, really?
Well, if you're
What,
any
you-
way
are you-
decent
If you're a
person,
religious person, then
Yeah.
absolutely you're born just bad.
Yeah. everything human
And
is
should
Yeah,
feel
bad.
guilty about anything you feel or might
Yeah.
want to do, including anything involving your own body. Yeah, I mean, I feel bad all the time about everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, just as part of being a mum.
What is it like being a mum? Like, we don't have a lot of mums on, so I'm interested to know, like, what's the best part
Well,
of being
you say
a
we
mum?
don't have a lot.
We don't have any mums on.
It's the best part of being a mum. That's hard. It's really cool. Like now Jeremy's older.
Yeah.
Now he's 10. It's kind of like just going out with a little mate.
Yeah.
Like I love being able to just bung him in the car and go down to Brighton for the day.
When you say bung him in the car,
Just chuck
you
him in the
mean
car.
Yeah.
strap him in safely
Strap him
and
in
drive down at a
safely
responsible
in the
speed,
appropriate car
or
seat.
just bung him in?
Yeah, no, bundling him into the boot, wrapped up with duct tape, telling him
Yeah.
he's having a nap on the way there.
Yeah. He loves that.
Yeah, I don't know, just seeing them turn into watching them, because they're like, I heard them described as milk slugs when they're babies.
Yeah.
So, and it's kind of true, and it's really not very rewarding in the beginning. It's really hard. And there aren't that many positives, but when they actually start turning into people and you start getting actual feedback.
Yeah.
I'm
watching them develop.
Yeah, like with Harry at the moment, because he's obviously potentially autistic, everything's been delayed. So all of the things I took for granted with Jeremy, like conversation, being able to tell him to do things and not to do things, all of that's different with Harry. So then when those things slowly come, they're extra cool.
Yeah.
Now he's actually starting to try and like have two-way communication with us.
Are you able to apply that retrospectively to look back at your time with Jeremy growing up and realise, appreciate, like you said, be grateful for actually what you got?
Yeah, and I feel quite sad because at the time I was quite caught up in how difficult it was rather than appreciating it. Obviously, I had nothing to compare it to.
I think that must be the norm, though, surely.
Yeah.
Because you're just living your experience.
Well, it's like they say, the days are long and the years are short.
And like,
that's absolutely true.
I remember you at the time, particularly when Jeremy was really young, and you just never got any sleep. I mean, it's not particularly different now with Harry, but you were just sleep deprived all the time. And that's not a pleasant experience.
And it's absolutely a form of torture for sure.
Yeah. Well, the SAS do it, don't they, to train their soldiers.
Have kids?
No, but like long hours of like not being able to sleep, stress positions,
the sleep
all the
thing.
noise. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're basically signing up for that.
And now having Harry and him being more challenging and the parenting journey not being as smooth as it was with Jeremy, I can still appreciate Jeremy now because he is really easy and he's a really cool kid.
Yeah.
And Harry's super, super challenging, and it's hard to get anywhere on time or in one piece without a meltdown. So yeah, it's hard. It's great, but I'm honest, and I would say parenting is 75 to 80% really fucking hard.
Yeah.
Not at all rewarding, and absolutely exhausting, and like 20-25% nice.
Selling it.
Yeah.
Really
So
selling
yeah,
it. No,
and
but
the
it's
problem
honest.
is, it's not like it's just, to me, I got a puppy and I thought a puppy is exactly the same experience as having a baby. You think you know what it's going to be
Jasper.
like. You think getting a puppy is going to be a great idea, and you do it all properly, and you get it for a nice breeder and all that lovely stuff, and then it's an absolute nightmare. It's the same as having a newborn baby. The only difference is if you realise you've made a mistake with a dog, you can do something about it. You can give it to someone who's better equipped to look after it than you are. It's not possible with kids. And no one tells you the truth about having kids.
Well,
everyone lies.
Not possible through the legal routes.
No.
but,
I mean, you can give your kid away, but it's not as easy as giving a dog away.
No.
And there's way more of an emotional attachment. And no one's honest about it. Nobody tells you just how hard it is, and everyone focuses on that initial first year of life. No one really talks about, but it's actually after the first year of life where it's really, and it just gets harder every year. It never gets easier.
They never stop being dependent.
No, now Jeremy's 10, all I'm hearing is parents of kids, of young adolescents and early teenagers just talking about how much harder it's getting. So yeah, I'm not expecting it to get any easier.
Did it change your perspective with your own parents having kids?
Yeah, absolutely. They probably shouldn't have done. I think most people shouldn't have children. Like, none of us are None of us are sane enough. None of us have got our shit together enough.
Yeah, no one's well adjusted enough.
No one's well adjusted enough, and you don't realise how fucked you are until you have your own kids.
Well, it's that poem, isn't there? They fuck you up, your mum and dad. They don't mean to, but they do.
Absolutely.
Like,
And I heard someone say, like, we're all gonna fuck our kids up. It's just how we do it.
100%. Like, we've had conversations where like Joe's been like, am I fucking Jeremy up because I've done this or that? And I'm like, very possibly. Like
Maybe.
but I think that's impossible
Yeah.
not to do. Like,
it is.
I think all parents, like, there's never enough money either.
No.
And money you also need, you should be saving up for their therapy when they're an adult to pay for all the ways you did fuck them up. And yeah, like, I genuinely, like, if most people knew how hard it really was, they probably wouldn't do it. And that doesn't mean you'd undo having your children. But like, I didn't realise how selfish I was till I had kids, how much I want to be selfish until I had kids. And the times I struggle with are like, you know, when I've been up since 6 o'clock being mum and it's 11 o'clock at night and I'm still being mum, and I'd just like you to go away for a little bit so I can watch Married at First Sight and eat my pudding and just be left the fuck alone for an hour. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Which Married at First Sight do you go for?
Well, I like Australia and UK, and Australia.
I've watched a little bit.
I've watched a little bit of the Australian one. It's batshit.
Yeah, they're all in deep. Leanne, Mum, Joe.
Yeah, we've got a group chat.
There was like one I was watching a clip of it the other day where the woman was like a medium.
Oh yeah, a medium.
Yeah, and like she was on this date with her husband.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm getting something.
Hang on. I'm downloading.
Yeah.
I'm downloading.
Yeah, that was it. Downloading. She said
Getting
downloading.
downloads.
It was brilliant.
The thing is, I've talked to you about this before. One of the worst things about being a spiritual person is people like that.
Yeah,
They
it's
just
the
give
phony
it-
holies.
They give you a bad name.
Absolutely. They do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And she, they had like some lunch, then went out in the field to look at cows. She's then having a hysterical breakdown, crying over, I can't believe I ate beef last night, and I look at them, they're so beautiful, I'm never eating beef again. And he's recently said on a podcast he was on 2 hours later, she was eating meat again. So it's all just...
But it's
mental.
funny, when I listen to these guys talking about it, I remember what you started saying to me, that they're not making a show about putting people together.
No, they're making a TV show.
100%.
They're not trying to pair people up.
If
they're making a TV show.
If that was ever... Because if you go back and you watch series 1, and if you watch the American Married at First Sight, it's really boring because they do it properly in America, because most of them are really religious. So if you're going to marry someone... probably going to sleep with them. Like all of the judges actually go round and meet all their families and their pastors and all that.
I hope they wait for them to finish first.
They do, yeah. But if you go back to the first UK one and watch it, it's actually really serious. Like it's a proper experiment. But after like the first couple of series, it's just
They realised they just wanted to make a TV show.
Because I think I used to watch it, and it's a bit like when you watch the X Factor and Jedward keep getting through, and you're like, I don't like, what are we doing here? Do you know what I
Can
mean?
I throw it out there? I like Jedward.
Well,
I thought they brought a bit of fun.
awful. Like, look, as people, they might be lovely, but just don't like them.
Don't let that be the rock we go down on.
I don't know.
You got no strong
You've
views
got
on
no
Jedward.
strong views on Jedward.
I think they're pretty harmless.
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
you
Well,
go.
no, look,
There you
they're
go.
not causing any damage.
And look,
but
like Rylan was one
I love Ryan.
series
He's had a
Jedward,
whole-
wasn't he?
I
Got a
guess
whole
so.
career out
He
of
was
it,
a
isn't he?
complete joke, and he
Yeah,
made
but I
it
like
to the
Ryland, so
final.
I'm fine with it.
I see how it is. It's anti-Irish, isn't it?
Do you know what? Actually, I love the Irish accent. So,
No.
you know,
Do you like Louis Walsh?
Not really.
no.
Exactly,
Jedward
anti-Irish.
don't like him
No,
either.
I
No,
like-
no. Jedward went in
So
hard on
if
him.
you like
Yeah.
Jedward, then
No,
you're
Louis
against
Walsh.
Louis Walsh.
Louis Walsh is
Yeah,
bell end.
I've seen there's beef there.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, like predatory contracts and.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
Louis Walsh isn't the nice,
Oh no, you can say
you know,
that.
cuddly
Like,
Irishman.
the one clip I saw of him in the Big Brother house was that he stormed in and immediately went, "My bed off," and then the woman was like, "Oh, okay," and then he sat there afterwards, and someone was like, "That was a bit rude," and he was like, "Oh, she knows I'm only joking." He's like, "This does look like me though," and just keeps the bed.
Oh wow.
So yeah, he's at the bed end.
Yeah, I'll go for that.
Yeah,
Can I just critique, if I may, your skills as a
Please.
host?
please. Because I haven't poured a drink
You've not
yet.
offered your guest a drink.
And it's the Toryest of Tory drinks.
Yeah, that's why I don't want to touch it.
He's
Get the gloves.
constantly ribbing me for my Tory tastes.
What would people
Me too.
like? Yeah, I know. I thought you two might actually get
Have you
along
like
with this.
given it a bit of a shake so we don't get sediment?
What
I
is it?
hadn't. It's Belvoir Farm sparkling apple juice with
But
pink ladies.
it's not just any apple juice.
With pink ladies.
It's pink lady apple.
A bit
juice.
That's what I
saucy.
just said, yeah. It's got the Great Taste 2022 award.
I don't
Didn't
buy
win
any old shit,
2023.
Jake.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, what other information would you like? I think it's suitable for vegetarians and vegans. It is.
Should we try and get another sponsor?
I do not think Belvoir.
Well, I don't know. Now you've had me on the podcast.
What that we know.
We've
women.
elevated ourselves.
You
You wanted the posh glass, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
Did you want the sparkling apple juice?
Yeah.
Okay.
You watched The View Saw.
I'm just being careful. I have a laptop in front of me. Feel free to talk amongst yourselves.
I'd rather watch.
What, and just pile the pressure on.
Sort of.
So
Are you having the same, or would
Thank
you
you.
like some raspberry lemonade?
smells.
Well, I
very
know. I'll
nice.
try the open one. That's
Okay, well, pass me a glass, my good man.
thank you.
A man after my own heart, there, Jake. Not opening. A
You
second
don't
bottle when
waste
there's-
opening a second
I
bottle when
would
there's
have
one opening.
absolutely opened.
Of course you would have.
That
done.
says a lot about who you
And
are.
now I'm not
You
going
would've done.
to.
Manners, Andrew. Manners.
You know we were only dragged up.
Well, speak for yourself. I'm the one with
Oh,
Tory
that's quite
taste.
nice.
Yeah.
Oh, quite nice. Because there's a lot I want to ask you about growing up with that one.
Please do.
A lot. So the first thing that I want to ask you, because it's ever since we spoke about getting you on, I've just wanted to know this because something that's come up on the podcast before
I think I
Mhm.
know what this
is that he insisted on having presents for your birthday.
Yeah, proper.
What the
dickhead.
hell was that like?
I know, it was ridiculous. It was absolutely.
I think what it
ridiculous.
was, it wasn't that I insisted on having one. It's that I would get so jealous. I wanted to open Joe's presents.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
mum and dad were like, "No, if you have one of your own, then you don't."
Because
get
I think
to touch
it
any
went
of
on.
Joe's." For quite a
Because
while.
I remember
30th.
him.
Still to this day.
I remember you starting to get presents, say when I was around 7 or 8. So you were about 3. So
Yeah.
I think mum and dad must have had like a couple of birthdays of you being a spoilt brat, and then just decided to indulge you even further.
Yeah.
And because the reason I found it ridiculous was because I got
'Cause
a
it's
present-
ridiculous.
It's ridiculous, but I got a present on his birthday, and I was
What,
like,
to
"What?"
even it out?
To even it out, and I was like, no, I'm not a twat. I don't need a present.
And I
I'm-
still begrudged her getting it.
yeah,
as well.
yeah. Like, he's such a knob. Such a knob. So yeah, that was totally ridiculous. I don't even know when that stopped. I think that went on for like
I think
too long.
I remember being a teenager and going, "No, it's all right. I don't need a present anymore."
But he had a bottle. He drank with a bottle till he was
Here we
about
go.
8 or 9.
I definitely wasn't.
You
that
definitely were.
old. No, I definitely wasn't.
And
that
I
old.
remember us walking to Superdrug.
6 or 7 I can live with, but not 8 or 9.
Okay. We walked to Superdrug in Wallington, and I remember my mum saying to him, "These are the last teats I'm buying for your bottles. If you chew through these ones, I'm not buying any more." Because he used to have Ribena in the bottle, but he'd chew the teat, and mum had to keep buying new.
God, I hope you
New
didn't do that when your
teats.
mum was breastfeeding, if she breastfed.
That's why she couldn't.
She didn't.
Yeah, fucking right and all.
I'm a biter, Jay.
Who knows?
Yeah. Like apparently once when I was really little, I was on mum's lap when she was on the toilet and just decided to like bite down on her shoulder.
He was round her like this, facing her, and I
Like
remember
a
standing
koala
on
bear.
landing, and he just went down on her shoulder, made her bleed and everything.
Yeah.
She made a right big deal out of
Painted
it.
a wonderful portrait of you as a child.
Someone should check on the
He was annoying. He was proper spoiled because he was like the second child. Mum and dad, like,
And Nan loved
they
me.
were totally that relaxed thing. Like, with the, you have your first child, everything terrifies you. And the second one, you're like, nah, they'll be fine. Unless they actually stop breathing, you're like, nah, they're all cool. He got away with murder. He used to just smile at people and they'd be like, oh, look at him.
I was
'Cause
really
he had
cute,
blonde
though.
hair.
I was small and cute once upon a time.
And he used to have this trick of like going in the kitchen and wanting to get like a snack. And so he'd open it as he was leaving the kitchen. So by the time an adult caught him, it's like, well, I've already opened it. So then he'd get away with eating it.
And you didn't get the same privileges,
I
no?
remember once, because when we were younger, it was when they first got that you could watch telly in 2 rooms.
Mm-hmm.
So I started watching telly in Mum and Dad's room because Dad would have like fucking TCM on and
Yeah.
Captain Horatio Hornblower and things like that. She'd go watch TV upstairs and I'd take snacks up with me, and more than what Mum and Dad knew. And my way of thinking I was getting away with it was to put the wrappers down the back of their bed. And then just one day, like, Dad happened to pull the bed out and found it all.
Jake, it was like a sweet shop's worth of fucking crisp wrappers.
Yogurt pots down
Yogurt
there.
pots, everything.
At what age did you start believing, if you ever did, that rules actually did apply to you?
Once I got to secondary school, I would say I started behaving more.
Yeah. And Dad eventually got fed up with the grin. Like, eventually
Yeah,
the
that
grin
just pissed
stopped
him off.
working and it would annoy him.
Oh, it
in
went the other way.
Yeah.
It became smarmy.
Because he used to try, like, even if he'd done something really bad, he'd just try and grin his way out of it. And Dad's like, no.
See, I don't remember a
It
lot
had
of
worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny.
But I just always wanted to get your perspective of what that was like having to get.
But
It's
Joe-
funny, the idea that you were baffled that you also got a gift.
Yeah, and I
'cause you're
didn't.
like,
I
this
didn't
isn't-
want one
This
because I
isn't
was
a
like,
thing.
you're giving it to me because you've had to indulge him, and I'm not the one who needs indulge. Even as like a 7-year-old, I was like, I don't need. I'll take it.
It's not my birthday though.
But yeah,
Yeah, this doesn't make sense.
yeah. But yeah, no, like I'd say it was probably normal for most brothers and sisters. Like, we had a fairly large age gap of 4.5 years. So,
Yeah.
and girls are supposedly older than boys anyway.
Do you think that's true, or do you think that's just because we sort of force you to be a bit? We let boys get away
No,
with a lot for
girls-
longer.
Most women I've met tend to be normally more mature.
Girls
than-
seem to have a natural independence that boys don't have. Like, from my experience of raising boys and seeing friends who have got girls exactly the same age as my youngest and my eldest, the boys want things doing for them way longer, whereas the girls, before they're even 2, they're like, no, I'll dress myself, thanks, and I'll put my own shoes on, whereas boys are like, no, I wipe my bum.
From my
Like-
own experience, it's definitely best that I get dressed up to a certain age, because I remember the first time I started to dress myself, looked ridiculous.
Yeah.
Just, it would be like, I like those trousers.
The
I
thing
like
Oh,
that
yeah, well,
top.
they look
No
ridiculous,
colour
but-
coordination. Or I'd be like, do you know what? I want to go out like Spider-Man today.
Yeah. No, well, that's cool. Sometimes
do
you
that
have to
now.
let them do
I
that.
do that now.
You have to let them do that, don't you?
Yeah.
We argued loads. I'd say like the years when I was a teenager, so like 14, 15, and he was around 10, we probably argued shitloads and hated each other. But I feel like that period went quite quickly.
What was it like when
Yeah.
he was a teenager?
Well, I wasn't
You were in uni.
I wasn't
probably
really
then.
around. Like, from 15, I had boyfriends, so I was home as little as possible. And then I left home at 18 to go to uni.
Yeah.
So
You moved off with James.
and when I was 18, you were 13. So
I
I
remember the
wasn't
day
home.
we dropped you off at his flat in
Mhm.
Southampton,
Yeah, me too.
and Mum just crying, and I mean, like, "What? She's not dead."
Probably worried she'd have to
Just
buy.
saw her. Do
You're
you know
going to
what I
see her again?
mean? Yeah.
Have to worry that
She's
you'd
not
get jealous
gone.
and they'd have to buy you a place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get your own uni halls.
But yeah, it was really weird. Then when we were older, Mum was very much like, I'm not buying you stuff at the same time. So like, if you need a new pair of trainers, you can have a new pair of trainers now.
But I'm not going to balance
I'm
it
not
out
going to
and-
balance it out. So it's funny she was like that.
Yeah, I think maybe a bit like with the smile, Mum just eventually got fed up of being like it needs to be equal all the time.
Yeah. And he
Well, you
always
can't always
managed.
afford it to be equal, to be fair. Like,
Well,
Well,
no,
no.
that's not how it should work. Like,
Well, no, look now. I've got a 10-year-old and a 3-year-old, and what a 10-year-old
Their
needs
needs are
and
very
wants
different,
are
yeah.
so different.
Yeah.
And like, I can get away with spending pennies on
Well,
Harry, and he'll
well,
be entertained.
although I've heard about your 10-year-old, and I've heard that he does just like to take your stuff.
he does, yeah.
What stuff?
Well, like anything, particularly when he was little, anything cool that I had, like whether it was a big pair of headphones or a Game Boy or whatever, he wanted it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, kids always want other people's stuff.
Yeah.
They always want what they don't have.
Yeah.
They're annoying.
Not
But
just
he's a
kids.
cute kid.
Like, Harry's got a house full of toys, but he wants to play with all the stuff in the kitchen that's dangerous or he's not supposed to play
I
with.
remember once he just pulled a knife out.
He's really careful with them.
Oh no, he's really good, bless him. Like he doesn't like run around with it.
I think
Can't believe people judge
He
working
wanted
class
it.
kids when here we are sitting about how a 3-year-old
Do you
is
know
really
what he
good with
wanted it
knives.
for? Was to chop up his fake vegetables. He was being. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Very
and it's
independent.
weird. Like part of his suspected autism is he's got this weird cautiousness. Like weirdly, he'd run out into the road and get hit by a car, and that wouldn't bother him. But comes down the stairs really carefully and like knows a knife is dangerous. It's odd, isn't it?
yeah, and he has an American accent.
He has an American accent.
Yeah,
What kind?
just
YouTube.
yeah, like sort of the generic American accent.
Mm-hmm.
Just a bit of a twang in everything he says.
Yeah.
My friend's, my brother's friend had that when he was growing up because he watched too much SpongeBob.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And he just started talking in this like faux American
he
accent.
also watches like Russian YouTube, and it worries
He
me.
definitely
You better hope
speaks
he's not
other
s-
languages.
Yeah.
Like he started counting to 10 in Spanish with me the
Yeah,
other day, and I was
like-
like, "Okay, we're doing it in Spanish."
Well, bueno.
That's exactly what I said.
Uh huh.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. He's so clever. He's just not quite there with his speech yet, but his like interacting with people has come along massively.
I'll give for him, man.
Yeah. So no, we're quite hopeful about little Harry. Bless him.
Yeah, he's alright. It's just
Yeah.
doing things at his own.
His own pace, yeah. You,
Yeah,
especially when they're on the spectrum, you kind of just got to roll with that.
Well, and the
Yeah.
thing is, when you think about it, like I go to like autism workshops now and stuff like that, and I think everyone's autistic when you actually like
we
think-
all have our
when
own.
you think about all the things we like and we don't like, and I really don't like loud noises. I can't stand the sound of fireworks.
I see, I don't mind that.
Don't get me around balloons.
Yeah, I don't like the sound of balloons
If I
or the sound of
touch-
plastic bottles.
If I touch something in a shop, like if I'm feeling something, I have to touch it with both hands, or one hand feels weird because it didn't touch it. You know the milk bottle sweets.
Yeah.
I really like milk bottle sweets, but I don't like the ones with flour on them.
No, they're horrible.
Weird.
Yeah.
It's like
I know
like
exactly what you
chalkboard.
mean.
So if you think about it, we've all got loads. If you put food on a plate, we've all got a certain way we eat.
Yeah, like Leanne doesn't
food.
like if you're doing her like spaghetti bolognese, for example. She wants the pasta and the bolognese sauce separate from one
Separate.
another, whereas I'm like, no, you put the pasta and then the sauce.
Mm-hmm.
I have like weird things. I really hate plans being changed because once I've got an idea in my mind of okay,
Me
this is
too.
what's happening. If you then suddenly text me and go, oh mate, I'm going to be an hour late, that will just piss me off no end. And like it's fine, shit happens. People are like,
I
but, like,
try.
it just no, but like that can be with anything. Like it happened.
I
have
do
to
it
really,
to him on a daily basis.
I was going to say, I try and be on
anytime I
time,
go out- no,
but you
and
know that I have
what
my
makes
issues.
me laugh with you, it's the ones where you go, oh, I can come early, and I'm like, yeah, cool, come early, and then you show up at the same time as we normally do, and I'm like, and I'm sat there texting the anchor, and he's fucking done it again. But yeah, I have to stop. But the thing is, I know it's a me thing. Like people,
Well, that's
are
what's
allowed
good
to have
now.
lives
You've, like,
and
I'm just like, yeah, I know Andrew's going to be wound up, but that's Andrew's stuff.
I will deal with it internally. I won't have a go at anyone. Like I won't when you get here be like, dickhead, like what's your problem? I'll make like a silly comment about it or something like that.
But yeah, I
Yeah.
think we've all got funny, quirky. I actually wonder if being on the spectrum is normal, and anyone that isn't on the spectrum are the ones that
You'd
aren't
switch
normal.
the neurodivergent and the neuro
Yeah,
typical.
yeah, totally.
Like one of my other ones is when I'm leaving the house sometimes. It depends how anxious I'm feeling. I'll have to go check that I've shut the windows.
I
at the
nearly
back,
had
the
to drive
door.
around the block to check the front door yesterday.
I've got halfway up the road before and not been able to convince myself that I did just lock the front door, and I'll have to walk back and check the front door, and every time it's locked, but I have to go do it anyway.
Can't say the same for me. I've left it open once.
No,
Yeah,
I
Jeremy's
can't do
dad
that.
used to do that twice. I got back to Chipstead and the front door had been wide open from 9 o'clock in the morning till 5:30 that evening.
I've only done it once in recent memory, but I have done it.
No, it happened like a few
He
times.
did it twice.
Didn't it?
And the second time I said to him, I was like, because I had to leave Jeremy in the car and go and check around the house to make sure there wasn't anyone in the house before I brought the baby into the house. But then I had to leave the baby vulnerable in the car on the driveway. And I just said to him, like, if you do that again, like, don't bother coming home. Like, genuinely don't bother coming home.
Yeah, I think that's a reasonable response, to be fair.
It would have been good for you could have written in. You could have done it. You could have asked the
Agony
council of
aunt.
bros.
Yeah.
What would you do? What would you do?
And you've brought into the musical theme of the podcast.
Yeah. We do
Yeah,
like
yeah.
having a sing song.
We do.
Well, I'm not allowed to sing.
What?
That's one of
That's
my
one of the
son's
things with Harry.
Things is
Oh,
no
you can't
one's
sing.
allowed
Unless
to
he's
sing.
in a really, really good mood, if you sing anything, even if it's what he's listening to or doing, he will just turn, stare at you, and quite loudly sometimes
He'll
just
scream in
shriek
your
at
face.
you
But
until
weirdly, I don't
full
think
sympathies.
I don't think it's a sensory thing. I think he's just being a dickhead.
Yeah.
Very possibly.
Yeah.
Well, get it out. Get it out here.
Yeah.
You sing.
We'll play this to him one day.
Yeah, you can. Some of the stuff I hear people say about their kids on podcasts, I'm like, I can't believe
The
you just
thing
said that.
is, like, people are human. It's like, I remember once our aunt made, like, she thought we were, like, sainting our dad. And I remember saying, I was like, how dare you? Like, I know who my dad is. Like, he was an angry guy at times, but when I look back, it's like he had a mortgage, 2 kids, and hated his job. And he had a really shit upbringing. I can understand why he was angry. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think being a parent is emotional. It's difficult, and like I've said to you quite a few times, it's definitely made me question whether I want kids at times.
I text Andrew and Leanne all the time and say, do not have children.
Yeah,
It's not worth
It is one of the most effective birth controls, though, is watching either relatives or close friends have
yeah,
kids.
I wish I could have just been an auntie. That
yeah.
would have
Like
been.
there's times where like Joe will be like, I haven't slept in 24 hours,
Would
and
you-
me and Leanne are going for a nap.
Oh my God, honestly, and I hate it.
And I
like,
sometimes won't tell her that we're going for a nap because I
'Cause
don't,
you don't
want
wanna
to
be
rub it in her
insensitive.
face.
It's very
no,
considerate.
but I know, like I'll text the group chat
And it'll be a couple of
none
hours.
of them answer, and I'm like, they're all sleeping, and I'm literally hanging out my arse.
And me
like-
and Leanne are like snuggled up in bed just with a film on, sleeping.
No, but in my slightly less rational moments, I'm like, oh, fucking bastards.
Of
Like,
course, absolutely.
they get to go and have a sleep, but then there's also the other side of my brain going, yeah, well, choices. Like, you made those choices, they made
But then
those
there's
choices.
moments you have with the boys sometimes, and like they're like bonding moments where you guys are really. And I'm like, I don't have that, and I have moments where I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I wish I had that. So it goes both ways.
Yeah, of course it does.
And like we've talked about before, like Dad's passed away now. I've never seen my dad look more proud than the day Jeremy was born, when he was stood over Joe's shoulder and she was holding him. I'll never see my dad look like that about me, and like,
Not now.
and I wouldn't take that away from you because it was an
So sorry.
absolutely beautiful moment. But I'll never get that. So do you know what I mean? So you get there's
Yeah, it does go
there's
both
benefits
ways.
and cons to both, sadly. And I remember even saying to Dad once, like, how do you know you're ready to have kids? He was like, you're never ready, mate. You just got to make a decision to do
No,
it.
you think you are.
He's like, you're never going to have enough money. Like you said, you're never going to be in a secure enough position.
Sane enough,
Yeah, so you just got to...
wise enough.
No, you,
pick your
you
moment.
don't realise how dysregulated you are until you have a kid having a tantrum in your face and you can't punch it in the face. And you have to hold the feeling of wanting to punch it in the face, not punch it in the face, and then make it
Well done.
better.
So she says that she talks about wanting to punch a child in the face.
Yeah.
And it's fine. It's a beautiful, raw, honest moment where you're talking about
That's a
the
mother,
rawness of
yeah.
childhood. When I said I wanted to slide tackle a child on the street
For wearing a full
for
football
wearing a
kit.
football kit, that is like troubling behaviour.
Very different
And
things.
it's inappropriate.
Yeah.
No, look, I don't like other people's children. I only just like my own.
Yeah.
Definitely
Fair.
not other people's.
Yeah, there's moments when I'm at work and like there'll be screaming kids, and I'm like, this is the worst thing ever. And then I think to myself, no, that mum's got to take that kid home. I'm fine.
No, but some people are genuinely shit with their kids. Like I went
Oh,
to
absolutely.
Home Bargains yesterday, and there were these kids running riot, and someone said to their mum, "Oh, call your kid." It was like her friend, and she was like, "Oh, kids just need to be allowed to explore." And it was like, yeah, in a park or the woods, not in a shop.
Yeah,
Yeah, you always get a couple, like, I remember I went at work and they got, these 2 kids were just running right, and I was just like, to this woman, I was like, oh, I think your child's trying to, like, shoplift. They're just putting things in their pocket, and she was just like,
Nah, don't care.
just sort of shrugged her shoulders and was like, that's, as
I
far as
would
she was concerned,
honestly-
while they were in that shop, it's like they were our
To
responsibility.
be honest, though, you do sometimes get to a point where you're like, I don't give a fuck if they're playing in traffic. Like
Yeah.
I'm
For sure.
getting 30
I've
seconds
seen
off.
mums before, like, and you can see it, can't you? Where the kid's screaming, the mum's just dead behind.
But you
the
can
eyes.
see,
She's
yeah, but
you can
checked out. She's checked out.
You can see the
completely, and you're
difference
like,
between someone who's apathetic and has just finally given up,
Yeah,
I
and
didn't
someone
say-
And
who's
it's
just
why,
being a
like,
dick.
to make it serious for a second, like when you hear the stories about the mums that just lose it because they've just hit a breaking point and they have a psychotic break. And
Well, you lose your identity,
actually
don't you?
harm
You
their
become mum.
children.
You don't
There was
become
a
you.
mum in Rains Park. I wish I'd have actually looked the details up, but she had 3 severely disabled children, like as in they needed 24-hour round-the-clock care, feeding, wiping, washing,
medicine, whatever.
medicine, everything. And her husband, like they lived in a nice big house in Rains Park. They could afford to look after their kids, but that's not the point, is it? Money just makes misery more comfortable. And she killed all 3 of them when her husband went away. She just, and I felt, and as much as, yeah, that's terrible, and I'm sure she's still in prison for it, the mum in me was like, yeah, I absolutely understand. Like, everyone's got there was over Christmas, Harry wasn't well, had a chest infection, hadn't slept properly for days, and bedtime every night was taking 2-3 hours, and then he was up again half an hour later. And I heard Brad coming up the stairs at 10 o'clock at night, and the second that motherfucker's foot hit the landing, I was off. You have never seen someone move quicker.
Yeah.
I was off the bed, out the room. I was like, you take over your fucking kid. I'm going downstairs for 10 minutes. Like, I just... Oops.
Welcome to
Wrecking
the
the joy.
professionalism. Yeah, to be fair.
To be fair, it's not the most professional setup, is it? It's a couple
No.
of boxes.
Saved
With
it.
You're
like,
getting the sponsorship in though.
Saved it.
well, look, if they want to send us a free mic, they're absolutely welcome to.
I think
We
they
do have
should.
a third one. But, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, let's stop talking about kids. 'cause,
Yeah,
like,
we've got some
I have
fun.
enough of them when I'm
I've got
not
some
here.
fun questions to ask you.
Do it.
So it's nice to have a woman on.
Cool.
You know, we can get the woman's perspective on things. So
Yeah.
this is just a guy asking a woman. You know, this is real, right? This is raw.
And
We're
we're
talking.
asking
We're all
you to
honest.
speak for all women.
So
by the
be
way.
Oh, wow.
be real.
No pressure.
Between you and me,
Mm.
is the clit real?
It's weird because that's my sister.
No.
No, I didn't think so. It's a myth. It's a myth, right?
It's a total myth.
We're told to search for it. It's not there.
It's not there.
No, we knew it. I
I'm
knew
pretty
it.
sure it's there.
No, I knew it all along.
Yeah.
No.
It's not you disappointing women.
I think
No.
it's them
AI.
disappointing you.
I think, I think AI might give us our first hope of creating one, but otherwise, no.
You got to look at what the realistic chances are here. Is it that I'm just repeatedly bad in bed with every woman I've ever been with, or is it that that's just not real?
No, it's just.
What are the
I
odds?
think
I
that,
don't want to say anything against that for you, bro. I think you should enjoy your life.
I
As
think
long as you're enjoying
it's,
yourself.
it's definitely. Or I mean, maybe it's not that it's not real. It's just, unfortunately, the ladies you happen to have spent your time naked with just didn't have one,
They are questionable.
Is that possible?
or it was like really small.
They've probably been in knife fights.
No, I don't. I don't think. Is it possible not to have one?
I'm sure. Surely there must be some women that have been born without them.
Yeah,
Can I Google this now? Like, this
Please do.
really
I need to
feels
know.
like I have to.
Can a
Google
woman be
this.
born without a clit?
You can be born without all sorts of body parts, though. So I kind of get where you're coming from.
Yeah, so I can imagine
I mean,
there's
you
a
can be
mutate like people
Born
like,
without a fully formed
There's
heart.
hermaphrodites, for example. That's
Yeah, but
someone
it
with
doesn't that
both
with
sets
both?
of organs.
Yeah.
Look, it's the second thing. Can you be born without on Google? The
Shit.
first one's tonsils.
Google
Can
is
you be born
freakier
without
than I
tonsils?
thought.
Yeah, there you go.
You can be born
So
without one.
there is
Actually,
a
you can actually.
statistical
Okay.
unlikeliness that you have just encountered all
So it's
clitless women.
called female congenital aphalia, a
There you go.
unique case of congenital absence of the clitoris with an ectopic labium majorum. I don't know what that means.
I didn't
Oh,
expect that to be educational.
No, I think I know what that means. I think the big lips are like closed over,
Yeah.
because one of the questions on Google is, how does someone with that go for a wee?
Oh, right. So they've got like a covering on there.
So maybe they have got a clit, but it's
Hidden.
It's hidden.
It's
Look at the rabbit hole you've taken us down now.
Yeah.
I did not mean that.
No.
I was just asking a silly question. I didn't realise it was going to get all educational.
Well, it has. I hope you're proud of yourself.
No, but to be honest,
I sort of am.
I don't think
I'm
that's...
just glad it's on her Google history and not mine.
I don't care what's on. What I've realised from the amount of police stuff I've watched is you can try and hide stuff from your
Yeah, I
phone.
know.
It,
Do you know
it
what I
ain't
found out
happening.
recently? Private mode just hides it from yourself. Like your internet
yeah.
provider still sees everything you're doing.
Yeah, well,
The
that
police
sort of
still
makes
would if
sense.
they
No,
looked
I
at your
thought
phone.
I thought you were off grid, Maggie.
Can't be like Googling like how to
I
make
thought
bombs
you were
or
off grid. Joe Rogan blew my mind on that one.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
just so your missus can't look at the porn you've been watching.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
literally
Just
Yeah.
hiding it from your
Yeah.
missus.
Virgin Media still know what you're whacking off to. Like,
we've shared good memories, me and my provider.
I don't mind them knowing what I whack off to. I got no shame in my game.
What about you, Jay?
No, me and my internet providers are like.
You're hand in hand.
I reckon I've shown them some good stuff over the years.
Yeah, they're writing it down.
Yeah. It did worry me though, like because everyone clicks on stuff they don't mean to now and again. Do you know what I mean?
Are you in the rabbit hole of different categories? Do you mean?
Yeah, like like you get suggested videos and stuff, don't you? So you like sometimes you'll click on one
Are
of
you
those.
are you
and then
Euro
another
tripping
one.
it where you're like the girls never came?
It was more when you end up with midgets on the screen. You're like, what's happened?
I've never ended up with pictures on the screen.
Only when
They're
the
very different searches.
only when the internet closes and it's just a reflection.
You notice I surround myself with small people.
Is Leanne as close as you could get to an actual midget without finding an actual midget? Was that the...
That was completely
The appeal.
accidental.
It just managed to fit your fetishes.
Leanne is a very nice, cute little thing. She knows I think she's cute. I never actually thought about it, to be honest. Like, if anything, we always used to get a lot of weird looks when we were together, particularly when we were younger, because she looked about,
Well, you look like you could be a parent, I guess.
yeah. So, like, people were like, what's going on here? Because we'd be walking, holding hands, kissing in the street. Do you know what I mean? Just spontaneously at a McDonald's.
Get it? You're young. You're in love.
Yeah.
Mm.
You have that weird thing where you make her wear a school uniform everywhere you go. I get it.
Not everywhere we go. That's just at home. Like the minute these lot left on
Yeah.
Easter.
That's between you and your internet provider.
Yeah, and everyone else.
And everyone else,
Have you got?
including TikTok.
Yeah, that scares me sometimes though. When you do, like, I'll be having a conversation with you, I'll come home and then a video pops up for
To
something.
be
we were
honest, though,
talking
I
about.
say I'm not having TikTok because it's China and it's listening to everything you
No,
say.
you just don't want to get sucked in.
No, but Instagram's exactly the same.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you talk about stuff and then go on Instagram and the adverts are everything you've just talked about.
Yeah.
So
They're listening.
they are.
I rant on Twitter and that's it. I don't do any other social media.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the one social media I don't do.
See, I like Twitter.
It's going downhill though. Really going downhill.
I guess so. I see a little bit more weird stuff than I used to, but for me personally, I don't seem to come across anything too horrendous.
It's just me and my algorithms.
Yeah, I
Have
think
you
you're
got-
following the wrong stuff.
Have you got any questions that might benefit from having a lady
I think
present?
what all men want to know, and it's the old classic question, and it's weird asking my sister this, but I'm asking for Jake more than anything, that does size matter?
What was it Dad used to say?
You
Jesus,
wouldn't
this is
like it on
getting-
the end of
Who
your,
knows
end
for
of your
all?
nose of the
Do
wall.
you want the truth or do you want me to tell you what you want to hear?
Jake?
This is getting weirdly familiar. No, I want the truth.
We want the cold
Yeah,
hard
truth.
absolutely it does.
You
Sorry.
don't want like a, like, do you know what I mean? Like a knuckle.
Like a
for
nipple.
It
arm.
matters, but too big is definitely a thing.
Yeah.
I've been told that.
Definitely a thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I've never measured them, so
No.
I don't know.
Men do though. Like I find it, like I watched this video the other day of a woman going around to men with a tape measure and saying, "Give me 6 inches," but they couldn't see the measurement.
Oh, okay.
And every single blow,
Overshot it.
no,
Under.
nailed it.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
really?
Nailed it. Every man knows what 6 inches looks
okay,
like.
Yes. Is it like that?
Roughly, yeah. It's not actually that far off.
I actually think probably 7 then.
Yeah,
7.
is the
But
ideal.
girth is quite important as well. Like you can, if you got a long, thin one, that's not.
That's not hitting the
good.
spot.
The weird
no.
thing is, it's not the first time I've heard these words come out of my sister's mouth.
Of course it isn't. You remember my intro music?
Yeah, I mean, it was hilarious because when I was in school, one of the biggest things I got into fights over all the time was people calling like Joe and Mum slags, and the most ridiculous thing to get in a fight over. And the thing is, Mum and Joe would be like, "What are you doing?"
I don't give a shit.
Yeah,
I mean, the thing is now, 2024, being a slag is something to be celebrated, not something to be shamed for.
You've read my blog.
But I'm not a slag anyway, so I don't
no,
give a
you're
shit.
not. No, I
Not
mean,
anymore.
we had a run in Ferraro. I used to just call her Hojo all the time.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't give a shit.
No,
I don't give a shit.
and we've even sort of got Jeremy in on it now, like on the your mum thing, because we'll be insulting each other, and the other one will just go, "Well, your mum," and then he'd be like, "But that's your mum," and then we had to explain to him it's just.
Yeah.
It's just a thing.
And also, I think it will help for when he goes to school that it takes the sting out of it when other people do it, because they will.
I'll get
And
annoyed if he gets into a fight over someone calling me something because I
Yeah.
really don't give a shit.
No,
And
it's silly.
I want him to learn to go back and go, oh yeah, you only know that because she was shagging your dad last night. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
hit them back with something that shows you don't give a toss, and
Yeah.
they'll get bored. So,
Yeah.
but I don't know if he's going to be like that. I think he's going to be a bit too sensitive.
It's really hard though, isn't it? Because like
Well, I'm only like that now. I'm not. I wasn't like that when
No,
I was
me
at
neither,
school.
like,
So,
it took me far too long to learn
and
that
high
lesson.
school's a fucking
that's the thing.
zoo.
Mm.
You want to be able to teach that. Like the times I've tried to talk to Jeremy, like I remember once he was bragging about knowing karate, and I tried to be like, "There's knowing karate, and then there's actual fighting." And I was like, "Your black belt teacher might be one of the best karate guys, but if you put him up against like a UFC guy
Or a kangaroo,
he's probably going to get beaten the shit out of." Do you know what I mean? I was like, so like, fights are not something you should want to get involved with in general, but like kids are going to do what they're going to do, innit?
Yeah.
So size matters.
Size does
Size
matter.
does
Size matters.
Sorry, guys, it really does. Unless you're into like only anal, and then I should imagine the smaller
smaller the
cock,
better, right?
But,
I found
unless I don't know, and then, the woman on thingy with the traffic cone, maybe not. So
yeah, there's like some performers out there that sit on cones. I mean, it's not a full-sized one, by the way. It's not like
but
an
it's a
actual
dildo
traffic
shaped
cone.
like a
Right,
traffic
less
cone.
impressive. I'd be more impressed with an actual cone.
Well, I've got two
Oh,
in
that
my
would scare
garden,
me.
so
I find that would scare me. If I saw a woman sitting on a traffic cone, that would not make me want to go near
Yeah,
her.
but that's when it's art. It's invigorating. It's provocative. It
Maybe
gets the
facilitate
people
modern.
going. Yeah.
That doesn't do it for me. Bit like when that lady asked like for consent, non-consent. I met a girl online once, and she was like, she wanted me to rape her, but it wasn't rape, but it was. If that, like, she was like, I'll invite you round to my house. It'll be at this time. The door will be open. I'll scream no, but and I remember just being like, I'm not shaming you, but just no. If you can find a guy willing to do
there's
that,
too much
good
room
luck.
for error there.
Nah,
I
that's-
feel.
That's a
Call the
danger.
police.
I'd really need to know someone to feel comfortable. Like maybe me and you could do that. I know you well enough. Do you know what I mean?
Like together or tag team someone.
No, together. We're not getting someone else involved
Or not.
in future.
Okay, practice on each other
Exactly.
and then invite someone else.
Yeah.
That's the safest way.
Yeah.
It's the safest way to you
With
know,
someone you trust first.
if you're going to rape someone, do it with someone you trust,
Someone who's consenting.
someone who you really care about,
Yeah.
and then do it with someone you don't care about.
That's the message we want to put out there.
I think all women would agree with me as well.
About rape?
Size matters.
Oh, about the size.
Yeah, I think most people, when they're being honest, like, and men know, we just want to be patted on the head. It was like with the Leanne jokes, I would joke about having this humongous knob, and Leanne would just roll her eyes, and I'd be like, not even once, even sarcastically, could you go, oh, yeah, it's massive. It's
No, the other
huge."
day when she said that whenever she sees it, she goes, "Oh wow!" It's like you can't even pretend and
Just-
say,
yeah.
"Oh wow!"
Just once,
convincingly.
yeah, just
Not
be-
even enthusiastically.
Just on your birthday, just
No, it's just got to
big it up.
destroy a man's ego. But there we go.
Some men pay for that.
You got any other funny questions?
Well, only off what you had as questions.
Oh, right. So one of them was, why do women take so long to get ready? And when a woman says 5 minutes or I'll be ready in 5 minutes, how long is that really?
Half hour.
I think it's
Half hour,
unspecified.
okay.
I think it's unspecified. I think that 5 minutes
It's
can be
up
as
to
long as
half an hour, really. I
Really?
think. I think if you say 5 minutes and you take longer than half an hour, you're genuinely
You're taking the piss.
I think you should
But
take
if you say 5 minutes and then it's half an hour, that's fine. You're still within the
Well,
quote
no, you're
unquote
taking-
5
you're
I
minutes.
still
still
think you're
taking the
taking. You're
piss,
absolutely
but you're
taking. the
absolutely
piss.
taking the piss if it's over.
But I
half
think
an
for
hour.
most heterosexual men, once you've been old enough, you know full well that 5 minutes is not 5 minutes.
Look, Andrew knows now, and it's not my fault. It's the kids. If I didn't have kids and Brad,
wouldn't be
I'd
as
be on
bad.
time. But yeah, if I mean, like the other day we said 11. When did we end up coming round? Half 12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did that
Yeah.
anger you?
No, because with those things, like, I know what's causing it. It's Harry. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So like, I can't get like.
Well, and
Harry's-
we say now it's just a known thing. Whatever time I say is not the time we're going to be coming round by at least half an hour. So,
Yeah.
Or as women would say, 5 minutes.
But you were on time today.
well, yeah, because I knew that Jake would be on time, and
So
Which is,
what's-
to
so
be
what you're
honest,
saying is-
that's quite a bold assumption, given
No, but
my
it
track
was,
record.
I was only just on time.
yeah, about 10 minutes, I would say.
Yeah, I nearly messaged you at 2:30 and was like, "Dude, I'm like, this is a struggle." But I was like, "No, push through."
I
do
was
it.
I was expecting a delay, to be honest.
From
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
either or.
No, Joe.
me.
Oh, okay.
No,
okay.
absolutely, Joe.
yeah, me.
No, in general, you're always on time.
And it's
You might
insane because before kids, I was like, Dad, 10 minutes
Yeah,
early
I'm-
to everything. I would always rather be early.
On
than
time is
late.
late and
Dad used to do my nutting, man. We'd be like, we're
Because
going
he
out
was
for
ridiculous.
breakfast, and he'd be like, we're going out at 9. So I'm like, cool, I'll get ready at 10 to 9 because that like it doesn't take me long to get ready. And then at 20 to 9, Dad's
He's
like,
like,
Dad's in the
In
car
the
with
car.
the keys in the ignition,
do you know what?
and you're like,
I was talking to my mum about this the other day. My dad is exactly the same. If they say like, if my dad says like, we're leaving at 7:30,
he's like, we're in the car at 20
About-
past.
by about half, because you'll look it up and you'll be like, oh yeah, that takes us that long, and then he'll be like
Do you
6:30, 6:45. He's like, do you know what? We might as well go now, haven't
I've
we?
just had
You're
an
like, no, why?
epiphany. I think I know what it is. It's having kids. Because you learn when you have kids, whatever time you want to leave is not
got-
the time you're
Right,
going to
You've
leave.
got to start early.
You've got to anticipate. You've got to try and aim to leave half an hour before you actually need to leave to stand a chance of leaving
My
on
God,
time.
that hasn't brushed off on our mum at all.
No,
though.
fuck.
Mum's
No,
the
it hasn't.
complete opposite. Like,
Because mum, I think, was a child with dad in the same way Brad is with me, in that
Yeah,
mum
yeah.
just turned up to stuff. Dad did all the
yeah, that's true.
organising.
He would do the driving.
So
the
mum didn't have to
packing.
get ready until 5 minutes before because she didn't do anything. I bet dad was the one that packed up changing
She'd
bags.
sleep in the car.
Yeah, and then she'd be shit company as well, just pass out within 10 minutes. I thought she was really rude with that, to be fair. But she's so annoying as a passenger. I'd rather she was asleep than
Yeah.
awake and stamping her foot on her imaginary
Yeah.
brake.
I just got to
and
defend my
But-
future wife here.
Like,
take her off her hands, Jake.
she could be going out for the day at 10 o'clock, right? And she'll be out all day. And she won't roll out of bed until 20 to 10. And then she won't be ready to leave until about 5 past, usually.
Yeah, it's really annoying.
Sounds
Yeah.
like me.
And like, I get anxiety for her. Like, it's got to 9:30 and I'm like, how is she not up? Like, I don't understand it. Like,
And I'm someone like you, like, when I used to have to get myself to work, I'd want to get to work half an hour before I
Yeah,
needed to
yeah.
be there, have a fag, get myself sorted, go to the loo. I don't know how people are turning up.
and just going in dry.
Yeah, like Brad arrives at work with someone already waiting for him. And I just couldn't deal with that. Like, I just couldn't.
My nickname at work was 5 to 9.
No, I just
'cause
couldn't.
that,
That's when you
But
rocked
now,
up.
but
yeah,
I
look, if I
hate.
don't get paid till 9, I'm not going to be there before 9.
But I hate that
No,
the
but
kids
for me,
have
it's not
ruined
about
me.
them. It's for me. Do you know what I mean? So that's the
Mm.
way I view it. Like, yeah, it's unpaid time, but I feel better prepared for my day now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. What was that question? I can't even remember what the question was.
Why do women take so long?
Okay, yeah. What, to get ready?
Yeah.
'Cause we've got like stuff to shave
Yeah.
and
And so do I.
like legs, fanny, armpits at a minimum. Like if you're going out for the night and you might have sex or you're going on a date, so you probably will have sex. Minimum, you got to shave your legs, your fanny, your armpits. Then there's
I think there's definitely women
Other
out
hair.
there without the same level of
Commitment,
standards.
yeah.
oh no, see, I'm I'm funny. Like I'm not turning up.
You got to be the showroom model version.
Absolutely,
Not
yeah.
the couple of weeks without a wash.
You're not.
Do you know
You're
what I
not some like French hippie.
No, I can't.
No.
I can't do it. And unfortunately, that means I'm not spontaneous because I'm like, well, no, I haven't shaved yet, so
mean?
you
Yeah,
can't.
stay away from
You
me.
can't touch me. But I think that makes for a better
Do
experience.
you know what? I remember when like working in the clothes shop once, and a woman came in and she was like, she wanted some stockings and she wanted like really thick stockings, and yeah, because we were like, you know, and she was, you know, my husband's gonna get lucky tonight kind of thing, and it was like, okay.
Oh shit! Okay.
And she was like,
It's to hide the leg hair.
she was like, I'm not gonna shave though. If I just get the really thick ones, that should cover it. And I was like,
Just
I can
have a
only speak.
shave,
I was like, I
innit?
can only speak for your husband, but please shave.
Sure.
If you like,
The
if that's
thing
what you
is,
want,
To commit to going out to buying stockings to bring them back home,
you
get
could have
them
just
on.
shaved.
Good,
Yeah,
shame.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I know that's probably been a bit misogynistic that a woman should be allowed to be like, I just don't want to shave. And the thing is, most men don't really care.
No, I
Like,
think ultimately, if
Not
it's
a
fanny, no fanny, you're not going to turn it down if it's a bit hairy,
Yeah.
are you?
No.
I think
but
that's
no.
how most men break down. Like, I doubt there's many men that refuse because, love, you know, you're letting yourself go a bit.
I don't know, it depends. If it's a scary movie situation where you're getting a hedge trimmer out and it's
Yeah.
But-
Even them.
There's probably a lot of like alpha men on podcasts that will say, "No, I won't go near it. I won't go near it unless
Yeah,
it's
but this
perfect."
isn't an alpha male podcast.
No, but
think.
I'd
No.
probably say that though. Like, if I was a lesbian, I wouldn't lick a woman out with a hairy fanny.
Really?
Yeah.
Clean
She'd have to
shaven.
be bald
Pristine.
eagle.
Really? Not even a little bit of rough?
Absolutely nothing.
What's your preference, Joe?
And I'd prefer it if she was actually like not just shaved but waxed or lasered.
What about men? Do you prefer a man to be clean down there?
No, I like it trimmed, like manscaped.
Right.
Little face on there.
What about you, Joe? How do you
nothing
like your
worse.
How
men?
do I like my men?
No,
Yeah,
so
you
I
don't
don't
want
need to
hair
finish
in-
that sentence. It's
No,
okay.
I know what you were going to say. Yeah.
I floss at other times. I don't need to.
No, I've got to admit, that's not the most pleasant of experiences. Pulling hair out of your mouth.
No,
after
it's
And
that.
look,
not
in
ideal.
general, when we like, I'm gonna be really fussy. Like, if she was gonna be my wife, she'd be lasered or waxed because then there's no
Really?
stubble at all. It's proper smooth.
You're quite a man, aren't you? In
I
that
am a
reg-
little
like
bit,
quite
yeah.
like you need to.
But
look
then I'm
after
like
yourself.
that about myself though, so it's not
yeah,
like
yeah,
I'm
you're
expecting
maintaining it too.
yeah. But if I had a girlfriend, she'd have to be fit with a completely shaven fanny
She
and.
needs to be looking after herself.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Jane?
No, I'm just enjoying the conversation. I would go gay, but only for like the gold standard platinum experience.
No, she'd have to be really hot. She'd have to be really hot.
Yeah.
Do you have any girl crushes?
Yeah, loads.
Anna Kendrick was one you've talked
Anna
about before.
Kendrick,
She
yeah,
is-
for sure.
She's
alright,
she's attractive.
yeah.
Um,
Do you know, sometimes when I listen back to the pod, I can hear it in my voice when we talk about women that I just want to go, "Cool, she's fit."
yeah, loads. I probably, yeah. I like redheads. Like that miserable looking bird from Game of Thrones. She's quite hot. Sophie Turner.
Sansa Stark.
Oh,
or
okay,
Sophie
yeah,
Turner.
yeah. Sophie
Yeah,
Turner's
yeah,
a good-looking lady.
See, I think she's more attractive than the one that everyone says is
What,
attractive.
Daenerys?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, see, no, I do think Amelia Clark's a good-looking lady
Like
as well.
Uma Thurman.
Is she a bit of you, is
All
she?
day long, yeah.
See, she doesn't particularly do it for me, Uma.
Bad girl. Yeah, in her and Kill Bill, yeah.
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 Well, this is one of the other questions. Why do women like a bad boy?
Because we're stupid.
I was about to say, I think it's stupidity.
It's
Yeah.
absolute stupidity, yeah. Completely.
Do you think you can turn them around?
No. No.
You just like the danger.
And any woman who does think they can turn them around is one that's going to end up getting their heart broken. Unfortunately, no one tells you when you're younger that boring is actually what you want. Like, ultimately, when you've got kids and you settle down, you just want someone who is all right.
Dependable.
Dependable, yeah, and that you can rely on and will do things when they need to be done and doesn't mind going to work and earning for their family and will come home and take the bins out and but yeah, no one. And I think hormones maybe something about boring doesn't make for an interesting civilization. If we all bred with boring men, would we then end up with Einsteins
And just lots of beta males walking around.
yeah, you know, occasionally you got to throw an Andrew Tate in the mix, haven't you, to keep it interesting? So,
Yeah.
but
You just
yeah.
don't want to get involved with that.
You saying you just sorry? Just
I
to
did
cl-
look at you as I
Are
said
you just-
beta males,
No,
didn't I?
are you just saying that you're mixing with bad boys? Are you defending women's mixture with bad boys as like a contribution to society?
No, I think it's something they can't help. I think it's
I also do think it's a self-esteem thing, because I think girls from a young age are effectively told through what they see in every walk of life that they're not good enough, because no one can match the fake persona they're
well,
put up
for a long
against.
time, look at the behaviour women have been expected to put up with by men. Like, it really wasn't that long ago that women were supposed to just be at home all the time,
Oh,
and
Well, I
their
was gonna
husband
say
went
there's-
out and did whatever
You
the
were
fuck
all
he
like
liked.
when we were growing up, it always felt like women were still being told, never boldly, never like outright, but sort of under the surface, you were told that your value comes from your
The
worth
man
to a
you're
man.
with, yeah, and how much money he's got, and what car he drives, and what job he does.
yeah, what his
Mm.
title is.
And generally, it's the more interesting, edgy men that have more money and more stuff, and ultimately, look, women need to survive. Like, our main priority is to survive, because if we don't survive, we don't make babies, and we've got to help our babies survive. So we want to look for somebody who's going to give us the best chance of doing that, and he might not always be the best partner. Like, look at kings, for example. Everyone wanted to be married to a king, didn't they? But he wasn't
Yeah.
a very good husband. But that wasn't why they wanted to be married to him.
It was for everything
It
else
was
that came
the fact
with
that
it.
their children were then going to become princes, or if they had an affair with the king, their children were going to become dukes and be given titles
be
and
looked
land.
after.
And yeah, so I think our hormones and reproduction has a massive part to play. But yeah, mainly because we're stupid, and but I think that will change now, because women aren't tolerating behaviour like that anymore. So I think the good guy has his time to shine if he wants it.
Damn it!
Yeah.
It's just as I'm becoming my bad boy face. Damn it!
Going out there to sling dick.
I think you've got I don't know, I think you've got it's really hard for blokes. I think you've got to be a really perfect mixture of masculine but sensitive, and sensible but exciting, and
Yeah.
it's hard.
Mm.
It's hard.
But we expect a lot from women, though, don't we?
Yeah.
As well. We expect women to be perfect and look great all the time, and not break
Have
down and
hairless
not
vaginas and
be willing to show us their hairless vaginas whenever we fancy
for very
it.
little effort.
Yeah, and like,
But they can't be too proud of their bodies if they've
No.
got good bodies,
do
because
that,
otherwise
you're a
then they're
show-off.
yeah.
or you're
Yeah.
a slut that's trying to get
There is
attention.
that,
Yeah.
So like, I say it all the time, to be fair, like outside of the pod, to be fair. But I think women get such a rough end of the deal in general.
God, you're
Like,
so
whether-
desperate to shake that misogynistic
Yeah. Only the
stick that
Well,
stuck
it's the
to you.
image you've painted of me.
You
of
say the
this
words.
Misogynistic, horrible man.
That's
When actually I'm
horrible
quite the sweetheart.
to other men
And women.
that you own.
I mean, it's
don't
lucky I've been
own
allowed
the-
out the kitchen to do this, really, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Very generous.
Yeah. That's what the real problem is.
It was very conditional, wasn't it?
Yeah. She's got to go back and cook dinner afterwards.
Hmm.
No joke.
I will be cooking dinner for
Yeah, I
everyone on
know.
Friday, by the way.
I know, I heard. Spag bowl.
Thank you.
No, you're not included.
Because there's always
Mm,
extra
it's-
spag bowl. You're welcome to some.
Thing is, he'd take you up on it, you know.
But my spag bowl's really nice.
It is
You
really
should.
nice. Look, did you see how defensive she got? No one even said anything about the spag bowl, and she had to say it's really nice.
It is really nice.
It is really nice.
Well, you said it too
Is it
much
as
now
good as
between the two
Dad's?
of you.
Oh, no, I don't think so, no. Dad's was awesome.
Yeah.
It's my version. It's
Yeah, yeah. It's an homage.
yeah. And I don't put... I think Dad probably put 20 ingredients in his. I only use about 5 or 6,
Yeah.
so...
Dad put all sorts in.
Was he one of those that was just sprinkling a little bit of this and
Well,
Bouquet garni.
yeah?
Yeah, he did do a bit of that.
I can't be fucked with a bouquet
But he did
garni.
have a background in chefing, to be fair. He worked in kitchens and stuff like that. So he had a bit of occasionally professionalism. Like, he didn't let people go into the kitchen when he was in there either. Like, he was very much a, like, don't touch anything, don't get in the way.
Well, all the stories I've heard about you as a child, I think that makes perfect sense.
Well, Andrew, according to Mum, like there's still a child lock on the cupboard under the sink. You just had to tell me, no, Joanna, don't open that cupboard, and I didn't open the cupboard. The child locks then were introduced for Andrew, so I then wasn't
thick
able
as mince.
to get into cupboards I would previously had free access to because of this little bugger.
Yeah.
That's why I tried to kill him a couple of times.
She did, genuinely. Once she put me in a washing up basket.
No, that one's a bit misunderstood because I genuinely thought
She was
it'd be
just trying to
really
maim you.
fun. No, I thought it'd be like going down a big slide if I put him in a washing basket and
And throw
just
him down
pushed
the
him
stairs.
down the stairs. But it really didn't go to. Like I just imagined it would glide down the stairs.
Yeah, I've made that mistake myself. As a young child, I've climbed into a basket and gone
It's
down
not
the
Yeah, but
how
you
it
stairs.
did that willingly.
I did do that willingly.
And
Yeah.
then another time, Mum was on the phone in the hallway. We had one of those phones that had a really long cord, and Mum was stood in the hallway, and I really wanted her attention, and she wasn't paying me any attention. So I got a cushion, I put it on the floor, and I put Andrew's head on it, and then I put another cushion on top of his head, and I sat on it, and I kept bouncing up and down,
I was a baby.
hoping that trying to kill him would make her get off the phone, but it didn't work.
No.
Nope.
Still survived, though. I'm a fighter.
Second child syndrome.
But yeah, she did also used to beat up bullies for me as well. So
Mhm. Yeah.
Love, hate.
that's it.
Oh, absolutely. Like, I feel the same way about him as I do about my kids. Like, if anyone touched him, they'd die. Like, it's
But
just
I
not.
also
A,
But you do
You're editing.
fantasize about killing them.
yeah.
Yeah. But I think that's how everyone
No,
feels.
but I
about
don't
their
anymore.
sibling.
To be
How
fair,
everyone feels about you.
you're my best friend. Like, you're absolutely my best mate. And I think our relationship just gets better as we get older.
Yeah,
so.
I think the more we mature and you get out your own way and move
Yeah,
on
I know
from
we have
shit.
moments where we annoy each other and
Yeah.
wind each other
But
up
everyone
and stuff,
annoys one another.
But yeah, no, you're my best mate. So
Mm.
we're lucky, I think, though, because I don't think everyone.
No, I mean we're quite close. There's not much like, and I think to be fair, Mum's really open as well. Like we can't all talk about and discuss and like
Yeah, I think we're lucky in that sense.
yeah. Dad was a bit more prudish, bless him. Like there were certain things you couldn't. But then if you were one on one, like there was nothing I couldn't have asked Dad. But
in
like,
the right setting.
Yeah, but like as
No
a family,
Cardi B around, Dad. Though.
no, that would not have gone.
Absolutely not.
No.
And he was really like, he didn't like women being spoken about in a derogatory way. He would never talk.
And he would
like,
not have enjoyed this.
No, no, absolutely not. No, bless him.
No.
But yeah, I mean, I think because of how open they were is why we all are the way we are, and
Yeah.
we're close and stuff. So, and we have a good time together, don't we? So.
Yeah, we do. We have a good laugh.
Well, let's see if you're on the same wavelength. Have you got something that's been written in that we
Yeah.
can maybe see get a woman's perspective? But let's see if you're on the same wavelength. Let's see if you're giving the same sort of advice here.
I'm not sure if we will, to be honest.
No, I think we'll give different advice.
Can you top up my Tory juice?
I absolutely can.
There you go. We haven't talked about anything current.
No, we haven't, to be fair. And we probably won't have enough time to now, to be honest.
Oh, really?
There's
We're
just
over
so
the
much to
hour
cover.
mark now.
Oh, no.
There's so much to cover.
It does go quite quickly once everything's flowing and you're chatting and
Your Tory juice is being knocked back.
right.
Yeah.
So we need the mood music.
Well, what, is this the one that's going to get us kicked off?
No, this one's fine.
This one's fine.
Yeah, I mean it said it's copyrighted, but you're allowed to use it.
Oh, fine.
Yeah. So I don't really know why they felt the need to tell us. So that will just be on in the background. This is the bro chant. This is the Council of Bros.
Okay.
You're the first female
Honorary bro.
honorary.
No,
bro.
you're not an honorary bro.
You're part of the
You're a
council.
bro.
I'm a bro.
You're
Cool.
a
You're a
bro.
bro.
Cool.
Right. I have to make sure I read this properly. Dear CrossingSwords, I'm a man in my late 20s and I'm in my first serious relationship with an amazing girl. We've been dating for nearly 5 months, but I'm still too terrified to discuss my sexual history with her. When I was younger, I was very insecure and lacked confidence. Girls barely looked at me. However, I got tons of attention from guys and had a few hookups with men, but never a relationship. I think I was experimenting and finding out about myself as lots of young people do, but I know now that I'm attracted to women and that I don't want a relationship with a man. Now I'm worried that my girlfriend will freak out if she finds out that I used to sleep with men. I hate talking about it, but I also don't want to lie to her. I think we have a shot at a future, so keeping this from her feels wrong. Should I wait until later in the relationship to tell her, as we'll know each other better? I keep waiting for something to come up in conversation where it feels natural. What do I do?
How natural is it going to come up? Like, how many guys have you slept with?
You ever finger someone's bum?
Yeah.
To be fair, I think I've probably asked my husband that, so could come up in conversation.
Yeah. Have you ever had a finger up the bum, Jake?
Only ever my own.
That's fair.
Or a doctor's.
Only ever 3 or 4 times. I did actually have the doc. No, I did actually have the
Really?
doctor's
Have
thing.
you had
yeah.
a prostate exam?
Yeah.
Oh, how is it?
Weird.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Well, your bum doesn't want a finger in it, so
No.
it's trying to push.
So not in that setting.
Yeah.
No.
It's very clinical.
No, not in any setting. Let's be
There's
honest.
no.
Like,
I mean, look, I did insist that the doctor whisper sweet nothings in my ear just to kind of make it a bit more
there was
relaxing.
a nice scented candle on.
Yeah,
and
that was at
some-
my
Barry
insistence.
White.
Said
some
Barry
body
White.
oil. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
If I was going to get fingered, I'd want Barry White on in the background.
I think contextually it's probably important to point
I
out
think you've just stolen the YouTube short.
What,
If I
the
was gonna
Barry
get
that
White?
if I was going to
Fingered,
get
I'll
fingered,
put
that has got to
Barry
go in the
White.
that's got to go in the
absolutely.
trailer.
I'll remember the timestamp.
This
So
probably
yeah, what do
didn't
you think?
probably didn't happen at Stag Do, did it?
I think
He's talking normal,
Yeah, I
same
think
sex
he's talking
hookups,
when he's like 15, 16.
but not stag do's.
I don't think
Because it's different when you're on a stag do. I don't know if you've listened to the podcast, but
Jake
when you go on a
keeps
stag do,
mentioning stag do's and what happens at a
because
stag do
in
stays
a long
at a stag
time
do.
ago we
It's
had.
not cheating if it's with the same sex, by the way.
It absolutely is.
No, it
yeah,
isn't.
I think that
So
kind of
I
is.
know I could have a girlfriend. Like I could actually come home and say to Brad, right, I've got a girlfriend and I'm going to go around her house and I'm going to fuck her twice a week. And Brad would be like, sweet, okay. And I could,
would not feel
and
the
I
same.
could,
not feel the
I
same.
could walk
No.
out my front door on a Tuesday and a Friday, not that this girlfriend's real, and go and bang her on a Tuesday and a Friday, have some good old scissoring, come home, hair in a mess, and he'd be like, did you have a nice time? And I'd be like, yeah, she tasted amazing. And he'd be like, cool, wicked, glad you had a good time.
No, I'm
No,
not
you've been
like
quite
that.
specific with the days of the week here.
The thing is, that's totally Joe. It would be scheduled in. It would
Yeah,
be
yeah.
Militant.
next
Yeah, yeah.
Wednesday, 2 o'clock.
And I would not be late for that,
No.
but I would be shaved.
I certainly wouldn't have the same reaction as Brad if Leanne.
Do you know
if
why?
Leanne was getting
Yeah.
Do
scissored
you
to
know
within
why?
an inch of
Because
her
he
life.
stupidly believes that a woman is less threatening to him than a man is.
Ah, okay. He doesn't value women.
He
as-
doesn't think that I would leave him
For a woman.
For a woman.
No,
'Cause
yeah,
he's
I'm-
absolutely incorrect,
Yeah,
obviously.
Me and Jake
I
aren't
don't-
stupid
No,
enough to
no,
believe a
I'm
woman.
not buying that.
So at some point, I might take him up on his offer because, you know.
You're asking
Why
me if I
not?
can be replaced by a woman. I know the answer is
Yeah,
yes.
absolutely.
Yes.
Women are far better than we are.
Yeah.
And they know vaginas.
I think that's why women don't also produce sperm because then
What would
We
we?
where
would
would
be
you be?
Yeah.
well out of the equation.
Yeah.
But for our poor young friend,
Yes.
I get it because you know what, homophobia is on the rise.
It is.
Is it?
It
Yeah,
is.
sort
Yeah,
of.
sadly it is.
Well, so hang on. We've had the whole peak of like pride, and I thought there wasn't a better time to be gay.
Well, there isn't. Like, that is true.
It's
but
kind of
it's
starting to
also
slide
on the rise
backwards.
Again.
Wow.
Like, that is true. Like, you can be out and gay now. And for, I would say,
I love it. Like when I go to Brighton, there were 2 guys walking up the hill holding hands. But I guess when you think about it, where do I actually see that outside of when I drive to Brighton?
no.
And I don't.
I'm starting to see more people that you can tell are on different spectrums in terms of sexuality and stuff. Like, I'm seeing more what I would imagine are non-binary people and
Okay, yeah.
things like that. So I think, like, in general, yeah, it is a better time to be out in any way, but it is also a time where, and I think the internet probably plays a massive part in it because we're all
Huge.
far more connected now. It's on the rise at the same time. So I think the majority of people are becoming or just are tolerant, and actually, if they're really honest, most people, if you like, do you care if people are gay? No. Do you care if anyone's trapped? Like anything, most people
I
just
think
go,
anyone who's like aggressively against something is because there's something going on with them that they.
yeah, it's
Oh,
not.
how many
Yeah.
like politicians
It's
that are
holding up a
anti-gay turn
mirror.
out to be gay?
Oh, God,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Well, they're all public school boys, so of course they've
Yeah.
all had a little fiddle in the dormitory at some
Yeah.
point
Yeah, they've probably been abused at some
while
point. So then
nicking
assume
the
all gay
headmaster's
people are-
martini. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he shows his age and inexperience with his question. An old lady like me knows that there's absolutely no need to tell her. It's actually none of her business. I don't know what he's feeling guilty about.
I think it's because
if it's it's so clearly it's gonna weigh on him though. So I feel like he needs to get that off for his own sake.
No, but that's why I think when you grow up and you mature, you learn to put things in boxes in your head. Like, I slept with girls when I was a teenager. It's not something I'm gonna feel guilty about when I'm then married to a man. And I wouldn't feel guilty if I hadn't told my husband that either.
It's different for men, though.
Is it?
It is. I mean, I've known people that have experimented, been in a relationship later on, and the woman has had a problem with it because how can you say you're not gay?
Well, that's it. I think girls, so societally speaking, a girl can experiment when she's particularly when she's younger. But if you experiment, you're experimenting. But if a guy experiments, he's gay.
Yeah. Do you think it's the anatomy of it, right? Because if girls experiment, nothing's going inside anybody. Whereas you assume if boys experiment, stuff's going inside places. Whereas actually, if you listen to Stephen Fry, he says that it's heterosexual people that are obsessed with penetrative sex.
Yeah, a lot of gay couples
and
don't.
And actually, gay people really aren't as into it as we would like to think they are, and they actually consider full sex oral sex, whereas we don't consider.
Yeah.
But anyway, I've digressed a little bit. But I wonder whether that's because you assume, like, say if Brad said to me, "Oh, when I was younger, I mucked around with some boy mates," your assumption would be that he took it out the bum.
Yeah.
Whereas he might not have done. He might have just wanked another boy off or whatever.
Or been wanked off.
Or been wanked off. And what's wrong with that? Like, I really don't.
Yeah. No, it is a thing for blokes, though, and I don't know whether it's because, particularly when we were younger, I don't know what it's like now. Everything was gay, wasn't it? If you slipped up in any way, if anything was shit, that's gay.
I
do you
still
know what
do
I
it
mean?
now, to be fair.
And like we had a
I
mate,
don't mean it like that.
We had a mate that we used to take the piss out of now and again because he told us about a homosexual experience he'd had with another guy, and it was something not just once. And we would just bring it up out of nowhere as well, wouldn't we? So like it's just, I don't know what it is about blokes. I think like
the thing is, though,
we
will
do
it
see
create
gay as
more,
inferior
like,
in a really unhealthy way.
No, but
It's internalised homophobia.
Yeah,
as much
absolutely.
as externalised as well.
Absolutely.
I wonder though, like, is it just going to create a problem where there isn't a problem? Like, is she then going to be on your case about, are you gay? Are you gay? Do you,
That's the fear.
Is there a
chance?
chance? Is he watching? Like, if it's going to make her paranoid and then cause problems.
Well, I think basically it depends on the sort of missus you've got. If you've got someone who's a bit more like anxious,
I genuinely think it's nobody's business. Like, it's what he did when he was younger.
Yeah.
And I feel like if he was in his 30s, it wouldn't even be a question. I feel like that's something he'd just understand.
Yeah.
Like, what any of us get up to before we start a relationship with someone is none of their business.
I think where I fall down on it is if you're comfortable with the decisions you've made and with those experiences, and that's all that matters. If this person, if you want to tell them, has an issue with it, that's
maybe they're not,
and they're not the right
or
person.
Or what he's worried about is he might end up losing her if her reaction to this isn't a good reaction. But then I would say you've done yourself a favour
by getting rid of her.
Yeah, so either I would just be comfortable with it and let it go and not feel the need to say anything, or accept that if you say something, you might end up losing your girlfriend.
Yeah, I think I would depend it on how they've lived their life. So if when you were doing those things, people knew you were sleeping with men and that you were dating men or whatever, I'd be more likely to tell her, because then that's more likely to come out in conversation with other people. Like, do you remember when you were dating so-and-so, or when I saw you with that guy, and then she's going to go, what are you talking about? And then she might think it's a big thing he's hidden. So, but if it was something he was doing on the down low and keeping to himself, then I wouldn't necessarily see the issue with keeping it to myself.
Yeah.
What about you, Jake?
Yeah, I keep it to yourself. But like I said, if it's clearly going to weigh on you, then get it off your chest. And like you said, if she doesn't react well to it, then she's not the one.
Yeah. Great.
I feel like it says more that he's not all right with it.
Yeah, probably. There's probably a lot of internalised homophobia.
And now
100%
he's realised he's straight. He regrets
and feels
doing
uncomfortable with what
but
he did.
I would just be like, well, maybe you didn't know you were straight until you did that. Like, sometimes you got to try before you buy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if I was him, I would work on him being okay with the fact that he did that, and then move on from it and enjoy my time with my girlfriend.
Yeah.
Or ask her to put a finger up your bum.
Women are so different to us, Jake.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Dear Crossing Swords, my dad is getting remarried this summer after having an affair with his now fiancée after leaving my mum of 30 years of marriage. This affair has caused so many problems over the last couple of years as his fiancée was a good friend of my mum and it's divided their whole friendship group. My mum was shocked and devastated and is still very angry with them both. The divorce was not amicable and my mum still won't speak to my dad directly. If she needs to get a message to him, she'll do it through either me or my older sister. It's been awful to see her shed so many tears over this. She's been so hurt. She'd been friends with this woman for longer than she'd known my dad. The problem now is my dad is pressuring me to be at his wedding and I don't want to go. Apparently lots of people have declined because of how he and his fiancée have treated my mum. My sister, who lives in Canada with her partner and baby, has already told him she won't be there. I've known his fiancée all my life and always loved her before this. She was one of my mum's nicest and most fun friends and was like an auntie to me and my sister. I can't comprehend how she could betray us all like this. I'd love for your advice on the wedding.
Tough, innit?
If you don't want to go, don't go.
Oh yeah, my gut instinct is follow your gut instincts. If you're not comfortable with it and genuinely not comfortable with it, either your dad's going to be okay with that and he's not.
His dad, the dad's paying the,
or her dad,
is reaping the seeds that he's sown, right?
Well, yeah. And you've got to sort of accept that if your actions have caused collateral damage, that it's caused collateral damage. You can't then necessarily expect people, if they're not ready to move past it, to move past it. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? And that's a big betrayal, like someone who's been in yours and your whole family's lives for 30 years and that happens. And like people fall in love and maybe one day everyone will be able to move past it, but
not today.
Like 2 years is still quite soon afterwards, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, people don't have affairs if they're happy.
No.
That's not excusing it, but we're only hearing one very
we're hearing
bitter
biased side of the story.
Yeah, for all we know, the mum could have been beating the dad. Do you know what I mean?
I'm not saying, but I feel like there's more history to this. Like, why would that woman be like an auntie to them, but be knocking dad off at the same time? Like, were they together once before?
Yeah, possibly.
And did he sleep with their mum and get her pregnant or something, so then married her, but really always wanted to be with that woman? Do you get what I mean?
Or they're both just dirty dogs.
Or they're twats. But ultimately, none of that's really relevant. If you don't want to go to the wedding, don't go to the wedding.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't feel like you have to go to the wedding because other people aren't going
from
to
the
the wedding.
dad's perspective and from the fiance's perspective, okay, they've handled it horrendously. But how would you handle that? How do you handle it? How do you say to your family and your friends, like, look, I'm going to leave my wife for her best friend?
Yeah. I mean, there's no good way to do that.
They should also just accept that because of what they've done, that people aren't going to want to go to their wedding.
Yeah.
And that's the decision they've made.
Yeah.
So.
And, like, just try and work towards building bridges back as time goes on. I'd be wanting to go Gretna, or do you know what I mean? Just
well, yeah, I was just thinking at their age, like, who gives a shit?
Why
just
do you
go
need
off
a
and
big
get
day?
married at a registry office. And
that's validation, though, isn't it? After what they've done, wanting to
wanting everyone's approval.
Yeah.
Well, and I guess from their point of view, they've wanted to be together for 30 years and haven't
potentially.
been. So
Yeah. But yeah, just have a small wedding and tell your dad to have a small wedding and don't
get him
go.
to FaceTime you after.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah, don't go.
Well, like, look, I think, sadly, guys, we've come to the end of the road.
Wow.
We've nearly hit the hour-and-a-half mark. The camera will
be
run out
dying
of space.
And we didn't even
it may have
talk
cut
about
off.
J.K. Rowling.
No,
Damn it.
I can't lie to you. Slightly thankful. Slightly thankful. But that's something to save for a future episode. It's not, I think.
Yeah, she's setting herself up now. She's like baiting the police on, so
well,
the story's there to be had.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to develop more because I don't think J.K. Rowling's backing down.
But they've told her they're not going to arrest her.
No, I know.
No, because what she's done hasn't actually constituted a hate crime yet.
Yeah,
she
no
was
one's gone and like...
It's a hate crime. And they're like, no, that's not a hate crime.
Well, to be fair, some of the people she named aren't nice people. Do you know what I mean?
No.
But But she's taking it very literally, isn't she?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. But yeah, that's definitely something we can touch on next. I think now we've broken the
going to.
ice.
yeah.
And we've had a nice chatty pod. We've got to know each other. I mean, I know you, but you and Jake
I mean, I
never
like
spend a
not
huge
only
amount of
having you
time
on
together.
for having you on, but I get treated.
Do you know what I mean?
It's
It's been a while
Juice.
since I bought
Yeah.
you anything.
There will
It
always
has
be
been a
Tory
while
juice.
since you bought me
Maybe
anything.
once you've come back, I'll
I
treat
think
you
it's
to
been necessary for the talking.
Yeah, it's been good. It's been good. But no, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Thanks for having
Agreed.
me, guys.
We will have you back again, I'm sure. Hopefully, we won't wait another 4 years to do so.
Hopefully not.
If you've got any
Um,
questions for Joe for next time,
Yeah,
Where
like
can
any
they
more
hit us?
questions about growing up with me, they can hit us at Twitter at Swords Crossing, on Facebook at Crossing Swords, and it'll be on the screen as well, by the way, guys. You can do it on Instagram and TikTok. Do you know?
You can
what
point
it
at
is,
it.
Joe?
You
Do you know
can
where
po-
it
you
is?
can
You can
point.
point at the screen. Yeah, be there. At CrossingSwords_podcast on TikTok and Instagram, and you can email us at CrossingSwords19@gmail.com. Like and subscribe like Joe does. She likes our episodes every week. She comments, she subscribes. She tries antagonising Jake from the comments, but what she doesn't know is Jake doesn't read the comments. It's just me that sees them.
I do it to make you laugh too.
Yeah, I do laugh as well. I do. But no, guys, thank you for listening.
I'm going to go back and read them, and I'm going to be really angry when I next come.
And we will see you next week. Bye.